When my brother and I were growing up, our family would attend the 7:30 a.m. Mass every Sunday at Holy Rosary Church. And having started our day with God, we continued our day with God throughout the rest of the day. We'd return home, we'd have a big breakfast, and then we'd pull out the Sunday paper. Dad would begin reading, of course, and naturally I would go for the comics page, of course. And that was just one of the wonderful things about Sunday, a nice relaxing pace to be able to read the paper from cover to cover, from front page to last page, and to be able to do so at a relaxed pace. Well, my dear friends of Christ, I've got my Catholic newspaper with me now, the National Catholic Register, reading an article about Saint Valentine. And the particular author of this article, Marge Fenelon, says she discovered several things about Saint Valentine that many people might not realize. Among them is this. Did you know that there are 3 Saint Valentines, all of whom share the same feast day? Now, you might think it's strange. Wait a minute. 3 Saint Valentines on the same day? Are you sure? Here it is. Remember first, Valentine in the 3rd century was as popular a name as John or Joseph are today. And so it would not be uncommon for several men to be named Valentine at that time period. Nor would it be inconceivable that 3 men of the same name would be Christian and would give their life for Christ, because at this period of time there were Christian persecutions occurring. Now the 3 Saint Valentines are these. The first is Saint Valentine, who was martyred with several companions in Africa. Remember that the north of Africa was part of the Roman Empire. So this Saint Valentine loses his life as a witness to Christ. Little else, though, is known about him. The second Saint Valentine celebrated today is the Bishop of Interamna, which is what we would know as modern-day Terni, about 60 miles away from Rome. He, too, is arrested, he's scourged, and he's beheaded. He is a martyr to the Christian faith. Little else is known about him, though, as well. The third Saint Valentine is the one that is most known about, and likely very much the saint predominantly that we celebrate today. This Saint Valentine is a priest-physician, and he, along with Saint Marius, would comfort the Christian, those who were imprisoned as Christians. They would comfort them. They would console them. They would encourage them, and they would hearten them. And they would bolster their faith that as they gave their lives for Christ in Christian martyrdom, that they would not fail to do so until the very end, that they would remain faithful until the very, very end. This Valentine is himself imprisoned by the Emperor Claudius II, the very one who had this other Valentine, the Bishop of Interamna, imprisoned and beheaded. So the emperor is persecuting Christians. He has this particular priest-physician Valentine imprisoned, and from there, this Valentine is writing letters of encouragement and exhortation and witness to Christians who are living and are afraid of living Christian lives, Christ-like lives, because they might very well be afraid of persecution. This Valentine says to them, be faithful. Even if it means having to give up your life as I am now, be faithful to Christ who has given up his life for you. And then he would sign every letter, love your Valentine. My dear friends in Christ, very likely that has given rise to today's tradition of our sending Valentines to those whom we love. But we were all of us called, like these 3 Saint Valentines, to witness to the faith. Now perhaps we won't have to give up our physical lives, but nevertheless we will have to give up part of our lives to be faithful witnesses to Christ. What is that? It's our time, it's our talent, it's our treasure. It's part of our life that we give to Christ out of love for what he has given to us. And like the St. Valentine who wrote letters from prison, letters of encouragement, letters of consolation, letters of strengthening, letters of heartening others to be faithful. You and I can do the very same for others as well. We can send those who are in nursing homes, those whom we haven't seen in quite some time, those who, are in prison. We could send letters to others, telling them to believe in the one Lord Jesus Christ, heartening them with faith, being true and visible witnesses, like St. Valentine. Why? Because we love, and we're called to love. We're called to love God above all things. We're called to love our neighbor as ourself. So saints in the making, let us, you and me, let us consider reaching out to someone who hasn't been reached out to in a while. Let us make contact with them. Let us remind them of Christ's love for them. Let us remind them they are loved too by us. They're missed by us and by their church. And that hopefully one day we can all be reunited in the one church of Christ. Yes, this is possible. All things are possible through God. And my dear friends of Christ, you and I can do this, as the saints Valentine themselves did, by making space for grace.